Okay, those are all of the speaker request forms for the call to the public. I guess one more time, I'll see if the young lady has gotten rid of the wah wah on the line, if she's still there. No? Okay. All right, then we move on.
Is there another one?
Madam Chair, sir, can you step up to the?
Can't respond to the call to the public.
If I'm disparaged, then I can respond to the public if I'm disparaged.
You wanted to speak on an agenda item and not the call to the public? The call to the public is normally reserved for those items that are not on the agenda. So I think we're having a confusion here of people who want to still speak on something that's on the agenda. I said I think there's some confusion with some people who wanted to speak about an item that's on the agenda. The call to the public is designed particularly for items that are not on the agenda. That means that anything that you wish to speak to the board about that is not on the agenda is the call to the public. If you wish to speak on an agenda item, then you need to note which agenda item it is, and you'll be called at the appropriate time to speak on that. So I think there's been some confusion this morning, you know, kind of weaving it together. And so some of them felt like they wanted to speak at the call to the public. Are you satisfied now that you can speak at the right time? Okay.
Sure, I do have some comments. Mr. Alfred Kern, is he still here? Take off.
No, he's not here.
He said, I asked him, why don't you move? And that's a rhetorical question, and it is because he does not want to. I understand that. So he is satisfied enough with the current situation with the roads. I also asked, why don't you pool your resources with your neighbors to maintain the road? And the rhetorical answer for that is that his neighbors are also satisfied with the roads that they have, and they don't want to either. Okay. Mr. Sturgis and Ms. Cato Daly, I didn't understand what he said the reason was for my recall effort, but you can email me that if you want. And this is, like I said, for Ms. Daly. Is she still here? Okay.
I have done that.
ARS 16-602B allows a statutory hand count of all precincts. It is still very minimal. In the Hickman memo, the Attorney General recommends increasing ballot hand count to 5%, but there is no ceiling on the number of precincts for day of ballots. All precincts was the action of the board on October 24th.
You said you wish to speak about being disparaged, and I normally we can't respond to the call to the public, so I'm trying not to be disrespectful to Mr. Crosby, but that's beyond being disparaged.
Because I am responding to what they said.
But,
and they repeatedly said illegal this, illegal that, and it wasn't illegal, and I will continue. In the 2022, October 24th, Board of Supervisors transcript and explanation at 3 hours, 30 seconds, McIntyre says the Secretary of State agrees with him, but that is the opposite of what the Secretary says the next day about ARS 16-602B. Page 2, paragraph 2 of the Secretary of State's letter dated 10/25/22. The precinct hand count audit may only be conducted on regular ballots cast at voter centers in Cochise County on election day and may not include any early ballots, regardless of when or how they were returned, as per, as I said, ARS 16-602B. In the 2022 October 24th Board of Supervisors transcript and explanation, 3 hours and 45 seconds, McIntyre misdirects county employees not to comply with election agenda
Tom.
item number 2.
Supervisor Crosby.
602B. You're out of order.
No, you are out of order, sir.
Therefore,
You
I
have
take
come
no-
very far beyond what the comments were. You are permitted, and I've given you quite some leeway to respond to those questions or to those statements.
No,
And now
No.
you're
All right,
going
the
into
public
territory
needs to understand that
far
you're
beyond
a
what
guest.
is published on the
blamed
agenda.
for illegal things. And
It is our place. So there is nothing published on the agenda that would give the public notice of.
then you need to
Discussion
stop
about
what people
this.
say and call to
So,
the public. because
now-
I get to
now,
respond to that.
Tom, let me also remind you. Order, please, quiet. This is an organized meeting.
I'm
Tom?
asking you to please be quiet.
Supervisor Crosby, you are aware that
You are
we
out
are
of
under a directive by this Board of Supervisors to report open meeting law violations.
You are out of order.
If you persist in this long dialogue
You are
about
out of order.
former
Attorney,
Board
you
of
are
Supervisors
out of order.
meetings and statements,
You
this
are
will
out
be
of order.
reported to the Attorney
Yeah.
All
General.
right, with the audience, do you want us to clear the room or would you like to stay and listen? We won't have you acting out in here. If we act out, that's okay, but you cannot.
Okay, I think I have been blamed for multitudinous illegal things, and I take no blame for subsequent court cases and legal fees and employee departures subsequent to Mr. McIntyre's misdirection. Blame McIntyre. That concludes my comments. Thank you, Megan.